Go ahead.
And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. For some of you out there, you know who's on the screen. For some of you out there, you may not know who this is, but this is my old friend, formerly known as Basic Trainer, currently known as Basic Caster. But this is going to be that hard reality check for everybody who's just like, those hate watchers are all doing that clickbaity shit. We got you good with this title. But Basic made a funny video the other day. So with that said, Basic Trainer, I think you are now officially been on this channel. You are up there. You got to be, with the exception of the podcast, I think you've been on this channel now more than anybody else. How do you feel about just that fact? And before we get into stuff,
I'm willing to say, going out on a limb, that even with your monthly, I still have more appearances than Rattle and Ryan for sure.
You think?
Yeah, 100%.
Or maybe combined through different channels.
No way on your channel.
Just
I mean, I've got like 7 or 8. How many monthlies have you done so far?
11.
11. I was gonna say I'm probably like at 8 or 9. So maybe they've got me. Maybe they
started adding up quick, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna be hitting our 1-year anniversary pretty soon. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, how's everything going? I know you're getting ready for. You didn't go to Orlando Collecticon, did you?
No, I did not. So yeah, it was a bummer. It was just timing. So essentially, I was all signed up for Orlando. I'm essentially signed up for every single one with the exception of Kansas City originally. And then Charlotte, I wanted to go only because I may have something planned there. But yeah, I was all down for Orlando. You know, I mean, the first year that I was showing up to the Collecticons, it was just me showing up, seeing a handful of familiar faces, but it was all about the show. It was all about the booths. It was all about buying cards, right? And then slowly but surely, it became into this like big thing. Everyone's going, the homies are going, the homies are vending, the homies are not going against each other in competition to see who sells more. And it's becoming this thing. But I had to miss it because I had to qualify for the MetaZoo's April's regionals. So I had to stay back this weekend. And then, of course, I've got the March regionals, Water Tower for MetaZoo next weekend. I fly out on Friday. So,
bro, where do you find, how are you finding the time to fly out like once a month to these different events? Just
sabbaticals.
Sabbaticals.
Yeah, I'm on a sabbatical right now, you know, just kind of enjoying life, I suppose, enjoying life, enjoying what I like, enjoying the hobby. So collecting, everything's just been, you know, essentially just Collecticons. And then as of late, I would say the past 6 months, 9 months, it's been MetaZoo. So I've been having a blast.
Yeah, man. So for anybody out there who doesn't know, the other day Basic made a video saying that I owe him an apology right after Friday's video because I always give Basic shit for liking MetaZoo and stuff like this, and it's always a back and forth. But Basic's like one of my good friends in this hobby. We've hung out multiple occasions now, like in person stuff. And I told him before we started this live, I was like, listen, we can do it, but there's just people out there. They won't be able to like take a joke. They're gonna be, and I was like, it would be so fun to have a back and forth. But I'm just like, I feel like people are so hurt right now that we just could not do it, even if I wanted to. Like people wouldn't be able to handle. Be like, PK's at it again.
I mean, one of my concerns when I did that, right, and obviously, and probably as the live is going on, if someone's just watching and not knowing maybe the backstory, they're like, oh crap, like Basics, you know, mad, Maze's pissed.
Like, why does PK hate this guy Basic Trainer so much? And you know, so I know that's funny. So what's your chances? Are you gonna have you been buying, selling? What have you been doing? I know you've been picking up some stuff here and there, and you still got all your booster boxes, right? Like your base set and your jungle.
I still got everything. Yeah, I've still got everything. Haven't sold anything.
When you think back on like your base set booster box and you know it hit up to 30K, I remember talking to you like when it hit 30K, and I was like, "What do you think?" And you're like, "Bro, I did not even pay close to this." Like,
yeah.
When you think back on that,
it came down to and I've had this conversation on one of my lives, maybe 2 to 3 lives ago. Colson, DNA, and Nesto were there, and we were going and I was kind of going through the process and my mindset when it comes to a lot of my collectibles, but very specifically aiming at the base set. And essentially, when it comes down to it, it's like I bought that box for $600 way back in the day, 2012, and it was with the intention to open it. It was with the intention to open it, save it for a special occasion, open it with my brother who might be in here, Magic Carp. Shout out to you. And yeah, and they didn't know what that special occasion was going to be, but when it got here, I would know that it's here and we're going to open up this box. Well, as time went by, the prices just went, maybe from 6 to 1,200, maybe from 12 to 2, and then 26 happened. So then it went from like 2 to 6,000. Eventually, it was just like, well, it's irresponsible for me to open this, right? It just doesn't make any sense for me to open this. So I kept it. And then obviously we know what 2020 happened. When 2020 happened at the peak, I was jotting these numbers down. I mean, I remember for a couple lives, I still have the notebook where I took down for about 2 to 3 month span from when Logan Paul did his break, October, if I recall.
Yeah, like October 2020. Yep.
Up until like the first couple weeks of February, I literally jotted down every single base set box that sold within those 3 months. And we're only talking about 30 to 40 booster boxes here. Okay. Yeah. 35K was the peak. And
crazy when you think about it.
My only thought was, okay, I can sell this. What do I do with the money? At that point, it's like, I didn't know what to do with it. I'm definitely not going to buy it just to buy more collectibles, right?
Yeah.
And I need to do something smart. And listen, I was just very fortunate at that time to, be in a situation where I didn't feel like it needed to sell. I wasn't rushed. I didn't feel the pressure. And my only thought was, when I get rid of this, if I get rid of this, I'm never going to get it back, because I'm never going to pull the trigger on a $20,000-$30,000 booster box. Today, it's what, 15,000. Just saw one sold at the show that I went to over the weekend for 16 cash, but it's like, I'm not spending 16, I'm not spending 12 or 10 today, or even 6.5. Like, I'm not spending that money to get that box back, so therefore it's like, you know what, for my cost basis, I'm just going to sit on it probably forever. My girls can decide whatever they want to do with it. Yeah.
That's it, man. You just leave it up to the kids, let them deal with it.
Yeah.
But how's everything else been going for you, man? I know you've been obviously doing all the MetaZoo stuff, but when is the actual finals? When is that scheduled for?
The actual championship is scheduled for October. Forget the dates. I want to say it's the first week of October in New York City, which is Mike Waddell's hometown. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be awesome. Everyone's in essentially to the Casters Cup. And they did change the rules to where all of these next regionals, essentially there's a regional every single month starting in March, and every single one's for $150,000 pool, top 32 payout. And it was set for 150 originally, but the demand was just way too high that Mike just said, all right, everyone's in. If you want in, everyone's in. So the first one, they're still stuck with it in a sense, because the venue was set, the day was set, and the logistics and whatnot. So he did say that they're going to allow a standby. They didn't explain the process for this standby, but there's a great shot, it sounds like, that I'd be able to play. Regardless, I have to show up and see. So it's worth it for me to just show up and go. I've been practicing for so many freaking hours each day, literally 5 to 7 hours each day. So many freaking games, just focused on this one, deck or type
That's
of build.
crazy. Yeah. Hey, man, good luck. But so real funny, we just were mentioning your base set booster box, and I see in the chat, and I saw it literally like right before I sent you the invite link. Rusty posted a photo of the new chart. I guess we're calling it the new Charizard, but the new base set reprint that's coming out end of the year. Have you heard about this yet? This new classic collection.
The 151, Pokemon 151. I saw it. Is that one correct?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just caught it, and I saw Scott Pratt post on Instagram, and he made a joke, and it was funny. Then I see Rusty post, I'm like, all right, what's going on? Are we just reprinting the base set Charizard again? Because how many when you think about it, how many base set Charizard reprints are there or prints are there? You have Shadowless first edition base and then just regular Shadowless, unlimited. Then in Legendary Collection, you have the Hollow, you have the Reverse Hollow. Then from the Lava theme deck for Legendary Collection, you have the non-hollow Charizard. Then fast forward, there's Stormfront, the secret rare reimagined Charizard. Then Evolutions, you have it in Hollow, Reverse Hollow, and then as recently as Celebrations with the regular Hollow, and then they reprint it with the metal card. Bro, they've done 13 reprints of that Charizard, and I'm probably missing one.
They're gonna keep on doing it. Why stop doing it?
This is gonna be number 14. 14 reprints of that. And you know what the crazy thing is people are just gonna eat it up. They can't get enough of this shit, man.
We want it, dude. The hobby wants it. Yeah, we're not gonna get enough of it.
Yeah. And the
Why would
funny
po- why
thing
would
was,
po-
do you remember I made a live where I was just like, people are asking me, is the 151 set the best set Pokemon's ever made? And I was like, we've seen 0 cards of it, but I love the fact that people are already asking that. And it's like, it's a meme within a meme, right?
Yeah.
The next set is always the best set Pokemon has ever made. And this is already like got that FOMO hype. And I'm just like, I just can't anymore.
So I had to go on Rusty's TCA's Instagram. This looks like it's I mean, it says 2023. I mean, it just looks like it was Evolutions, right? But it's got the 120 HP, it's got the 100. It looks like it's a
What
straight
does it have? Does it have like fire spin and everything you could change?
Exactly. It looks like it's the actual reprint, like an actual by text, by everything down to the T.
Is the specialty attack you can any energy attached to Charizard like you can change to fire type? Oh yeah, so that's like a reprint direct.
Yep, it's a direct reprint. So I mean that's actually cool because when was the last time that happened? Never.
Classic Collection, no? Classic Collection was that or Celebrations, right? Yeah, it was just a reprint of the original card.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I never pulled it, so I wouldn't know. So with like 125 packs, I never pulled it. So
wait, you don't even open modern Pokemon. You were ripping through Celebrations.
I was ripping through Celebrations. I mean, it's a special occasion. It's the 25th anniversary. And I was opening up with my girl. So we just went to Target, saw a whole bunch of product. We bought it all. And yeah, we literally had a pack battle. And yeah, it was a cool time. But pulled, I think, 3 Blastoise, 2 Venusaur, no Charizard.
Yeah. So Wadaboy said EX Dragon, Secret Rare Charizard. I believe that is the 99 out of 97. And that is, wait, is it 100? How many cards are in EX Dragon? 97. So Charmander is number 98. Charmeleon's 99. And then the Charizard is 100 or 99. 99 of 100. I can't remember. But either way, that's not a reprint of base set though. For EX
Yeah, I was gonna say that has. I mean, it's the same, I guess, animation, but it's different art.
It's totally different, but it is technically after Nintendo took over for Wizard of the Coast, it is the first ever Charizard that Nintendo printed because Ruby Sapphire didn't have a Charizard, and then Sandstorm didn't have a Charizard, and EX Dragon being the number 3 of the Nintendo sets, that was the first Charizard. But it's definitely not a reprint. I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah. So yeah, I genuinely do think that Pokemon 151 will be the best set. And I haven't said that myself, but for any other set, but I do think that's going to be the case here.
Yeah, so Drew's saying, PK, those reprints are from the new decks, not the 151 set. Bro, Pokemon's just got these, they're just printing right now. It must be nice to just whatever. It's like you don't even need an original idea. You're just like, oh, we want to make money. How can we do it? It's like, well, you have all these cards right here that have already been done. And it's like, oh, we'll just print that again. It's like, how long ago did we print that base set Charizard? They're like, well, I think it's been like a year or two. They're like, when was the time we did that before? I don't know, about 3 years, 4 years before that during Evolutions. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, they're going to keep on
everybody's saying it's not from the 151 set. It'll be from a deck.
That the direct reprint is going to come from a deck.
I guess.
Okay.
I gotta look it up more after this live so I get the information.
Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy how quick sometimes information could come in this hobby. Like you feel like if I mean this was probably just released like an hour ago, and you feel like you're already like behind the eight ball on this one.
It's they know we're gonna eat it up. I mean, look at the Switch. What did that happen last weekend or this week? Where we're gonna be able to buy the vintage Pokemon games onto the Switch. We weren't able to do that before. Now we are. Sign me
Are
up.
you going to be able to do it as a bundle, or are you going to have to buy it one game at a time?
I'm not sure because I haven't looked at it yet. But my daughters actually loved it. I got them a Game Boy Advance. I don't know. I can't remember how many years back. I got them each the yellow version, red version, blue version. They all played it. So then when they got their, what was it? A DS? Yeah, when they got their DS, then I downloaded the games again. Had to buy the games again. I got myself a DS. I actually got myself two DSs so that I can trade with one with the other. And now with the Switch, we're gonna do it again. Where do I swipe? Like, they're just, like, here's my money, freaking take it. They know we're gonna do that.
Yeah, so shout out to Drew, one of my mods in the chat. He just brought up a good point. He I guess it's there's Venusaur and Lugia EX decks. There's a Charizard and Ho-Oh EX deck, and then a Blastoise and Suicune deck. Oh, they even reprinted like the base set Mewtwo too. That's crazy. Real quick though, we got a Cool Trainer Ryan in here. So if anybody doesn't know, today is a very special day for two reasons. One, it's Pokemon Day, but more importantly than being Pokemon Day, it's Mr. Cool Trainer Ryan's birthday. So if everybody in the chat could right now wish Cool Trainer Ryan happy birthday.
CTR,
let him know you appreciate him. But no, good happy birthday, man. Yeah.
Not gonna say what, but man, I loved about 60 seconds worth of CTR's reaction, facial reaction. His reactions was epic.
Bro, my favorite part of that live was when Ryan ripped his sock off. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what am I watching?
That dude's a character.
Yeah, sorry again for everybody with my clickbaity title. But so let's talk a little bit about like what the video you made was though, like what the title of this video is actually really about. And hopefully people could catch the sarcasm. We got to be real careful, man. There's a lot of like hurt people out there. So
I mean, I thought after like a 10-minute rant that I did,
yeah,
I thought it was, even within then, I thought I was making, key points that it was sarcasm. But even after
I was laughing listening to you. So
yeah, but then even after the fact, I switched gears, and that should have been a dead giveaway that it was sarcasm. But no, so I just remember again, I was planning going live already at 9:00 Saturday, and on my way here, I'd seen that you were live again. I was like, oh, after yesterday's monthly, I was like, and then I read the thumbnail, the title, and I was like, oh crap, let me jump in. I jumped in maybe to like the last 5 minutes, and then it got done. When I came in, I replayed it from the very beginning, and it was just obviously right, but it was just this like. My reaction was like, what? Like a whole freaking half-hour apology just for what? Nothing happened. Like, what do you mean? Like, it wasn't even that serious. But yet he bullies me for liking something. He's yucking someone's yums and he doesn't apologize. Where's my video, right? So I just thought it was hilarious as I'm running that through my head. I was like, that's how I'm going to start on my live today. I'm going to go on the big rants.
I love it. There was like a while where like every time I'd just be like, oh, basic trainers in the chat, big MetaZoo chill. And then I remember you messaging me. You're like, I don't know how I run with this PK. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, man. So have you done but going back to Pokemon, have you done any big buys lately or any good buys?
Big buys? No.
Just buys in particular.
Oh yeah, for sure. Buys. I mean, if you saw my live, like one of my favorite, I mean, this is really one of my favorite pickups of the year. I mean, short year so far, but I guess in the past 12 months.
Oh, the yogurt card?
It's the yogurt card. And you know me, I have a fetish for nines.
Nobody collects those.
I have a fetish for nines, and I mean, they're hard to grade, right? They're just like Topps cards. They're hard to grade. They're Canadian exclusives, and so Um,
I was just gonna say, I was actually just about to say that was only in Canada, right? Yeah.
yeah, so I have the
And the War
Charizards,
Turtle. Oh,
and
Charizard.
I remember telling the story, when I got these. I mean, I first got one, it was the silver, and then when I went on PWCC, I noticed that there was a difference in the shading, and one silver, one's gold. So I was like, you know what? I need both. Yes, I need both.
Bro, you
And
know how far down the weeds and the niches of the niches you need to be to have different color schemes on the cards nobody heard about before?
yeah, so luckily I didn't
Is
have
there a
much.
War Turtle one too? Or am I making that up?
Oh yeah, yeah. Essentially, I want to say all 151 are there, but there's only about 12 that are hollow.
Okay.
Mewtwo, Blastoise, Venusaur. Um, I'm skipping on the others, but yeah, there's only a few that are hollow. And then the rest of them are non-hollow. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
never
these
see
are.
him.
But
I never see anybody selling, but I'm not looking for those either, man. That's pretty nichey. Can I ask, was the Pikachu the most recent pickup?
yeah, literally. Well, that was from last weekend's PWCC. So now, not this past weekend, but the weekend
Week
before.
before, yeah.
So I got this Pika during the week.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my most recent as far as Pokemon goes. Yeah.
So have you been doing a lot of buys, or I know you've been trying to get into the dirty flipping game. How's that been working out for you? Being successful or
So obviously I don't, dude, I mean, you could do this with your eyes closed, right? You've got plays on plays on plays. And I just started getting into this in the past, I don't know, 3-4 months. Just dabbling, just getting my, because I've done zero when it comes to buying raw, whether it's modern, whether it's vintage, what have you, grading it, flipping it. But just hearing all you guys, hearing DNA, Retros, Cosin, all you guys, right? Dan, he just freaking whether it's modern or vintage, he grades it and gets rid of it. I mean, I was like, you know what? I think I need to start doing this because one, I was using a middleman. Shout out, Queen Betizu. I was using a middleman this whole time for years, just to, send off my stuff. I never used to grade on my own. She actually got tired of it. It's like, you know what? Basically, like, you need to start grading on your own. Why are you freaking
that's
paying
good
for it? Like,
advice.
you
Shout
you
out to
you
Ivy.
you need to start doing this. And really, I was just a little, I want to say scared, but I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to pre-grade up to where, I'm making money. I'm probably going to be losing money. But, after getting a few pointers, looking at a few things, my first batch actually turned out pretty damn good. And I pre-graded everything just to kind of test. I mean, I was accurate within one grade and everything came above. So I was, being a little harsh on the grades myself. So it's kind of what you want to do, right? I think I've had like now 7 submissions. I've got 2 submissions right now, and then I'm working on another one before Feb ends, the $15 special. But so far so good, and so far so much so that I'm really proud of like this one play that I've been making. DNA told me not to give up the
No,
cost basis.
be careful. Don't give up plays because I made that mistake. And remember, I'm not allowed to show cards anymore, according to my comment section on YouTube.
Well, I'm not going to speak on the individual card, how much the individual card raw goes for, but my entire cost basis, and let's just say I was able to get about, I don't know, 40 of them for under, I don't know, $20 or whatever it was after I proved it, for 5 times. My cost basis for each card, I don't know, we're talking under $20, and the card is selling, and I just sold my last one for about $150 to $200. And it's just like, this dumb card sells for that much. I said, there's no way. I thought it was a fluke the first time. And then I repeated it over and over and over again. I was like, holy crap. I was like, I bet there we go. EDCs, let's go. EDCs, let's go. But not that card. That card,
I'm not allowed to show cards. I'm not allowed to show cards. So everybody out there listening, listen. There's somebody in my chat was pissed that I've been showing cards lately on my YouTube channel. So I'm no longer showing cards. They make that person happy. But
Chef says grading too harsh or PSA dusted. Listen, we take those. We take those.
But yeah, I was saying the basic earlier tonight. Yeah, people were getting mad. They were saying like why is PK keep showing off all his cards, bragging and stuff? They gotta be new to this channel. They gotta be, right? Basic. Because for anybody who's newer to this channel, I literally sat in my living room doing all my original recordings with a photo of the Rockefeller Center behind me. And I didn't show a single card on my channel for literally years. Years. And then so many people asked me, they were like, PK, can you please show your collection? I told people, I was like, I can't, I don't have like the right light in. I spent literally hundreds of dollars buying that fucking shelf, getting lighting, like painted my floors, painted the walls, got a new desk, got monitors, got lighting, got secondary cameras, third cameras, just so people would ask me to, everybody who was asking me to show my collection to them so I could finally do it. The second I start showing my collection, people are like, why is PK just showing cards? And I'm just like, bro, I can't win. I can't win. So I'm back. I'm not fucking showing any more cards on my channel ever again. No, I'm done. Like, they broke me. I can't. Like, I don't know what people want. 1 second it's like show your collection. The next time it's like, why is PK bragging? I'm like, I hate everyone. Can't. I'm done. No more cards showing on this channel ever again. I'm not showing plays anymore. I'll talk in broad terms. It's like, I can't win. You just can't win.
This is why we can't have good things. Listen,
Yeah,
look,
you can't win.
All I would say is, dude, just always aim for your audience. Everyone else, just be thankful that they commented, be thankful that they disliked, but just aim for your audience. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm just not showing any more cards. I'm like, you know what? I did all this for people. I wish I never did. I wish I was just recording in my living room still and still not showing cards. It's just freaking hilarious. Like, you can't win. Like, you don't show cards, people get mad. You show cards, people get mad. It's just like, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? If somebody wants to see a card, just ask for it. Maybe I'll show it to you if I fail up to it.
Alex says, I'm not here for cards. I'm just here for MetaZoo slander.
MetaZoo, I always tell people I'm a big MetaZoo fan now because I love dead TCGs.
Dad, what do you mean, bro? It's hype right now. It's I think it's more hype than it ever was. But then again, I think I'm biased. I'm in it. I'm neck deep in it, and it's fun. I'm having an amazing time. So yeah.
Chevals is like, PK be like, obey your haters. Yeah, it's just like, I can't win. So much money spent to like just do this for people, and then the second I do it, people are like, I can't believe you're showing stuff on stream. I'm like, can't win.
Awesome background, by the way, though. And the first time you came on with that background and I saw that magazine, the SMR Charizard cover.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go, because I picked that guy up the year it was released, just because I was like, holy crap, it's got it's a dope Charizard art on that cover. I've got it myself, and I believe I tagged you on the IG, but
yeah, you did.
It's a pretty dope art.
It really is. It really, really is.
And so I just had to have it. I had it framed, and then the frame broke, and so I got to get a new one for it. But it's such a cool freaking art on it.
Yeah. No, I like it just for what you said. Like, it's a different artwork, right? Like, it's that hand drawn. It's got just like, first of all, it's got what I love. Like, that's just the hobby right there. That magazine first off, and then with that Charizard, and then thinking about what's in that is they're just talking about the hype of Pokemon and stuff, and it just shows that no one really knew what was going to happen to. Like, I've been making a short series. I stopped doing it for a while, but like, I really like this Beckett magazine, the one with like Yugi's dressed up as Ash, and then Ash is dressed up as Yugi, and then you got the Pikachu, but it's in the more Yu-Gi-Oh style, and then Blue Eyes White Dragon is in more of the Pokemon style.
I don't like the way they made Ash look. They compromised them. They
You think did Yugi get the better deal?
Yeah, they did that too. I can't believe they did that to my boy.
I see Mason Berry in the chat. Everybody remember, Mason Berry never hits the like button. I always tell people, don't be like Mason Berry, hit the like button.
Is he one of your haters? What's your hater count now?
Oh God, it's a lot.
What was it like? Was it like at a handful, and then the weekend happened, and now you're like, it's more than your subs?
Oh, probably. Oh, it's yeah. I was telling you before I started the live, like after that live was over, I was like I was like upset about it after Friday, and then Saturday I was still upset I made that video. And if anybody out there doesn't have a YouTube channel, like there's this thing called YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio is where you can like go click on and like see the analytics of your video. And I realize why people like fucking make drama videos. Holy shit. The analytics of that video are the best analytics because of hate watchers. It is crazy what hate watchers can do for like the success of a video. The beginning always has like this downtick in retention, and then it's like this. And then at the end, there's just it's like a legit spike. It literally like looks out of place. It's just a straight line of viewer retention. And I'm just like, this is why. I I was like, if this was all made up and like me and Pokevault like came together and like thought up this master plan, it would have worked out amazing. Like hate watching is a thing. And that means that people didn't watch the entire live and just click to the end of the video to see it. It's crazy how much like people eat up drama. And so I went from like sad on Friday, sad on Saturday, a little interested on Sunday, like looking at my analytics, and like today I'm like, oh my God, like 700 new subscribers. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what? Like, what is with people? Like, they just eat drama up. And
Is
I'm
that
like, I'm not about this.
700 subs literally from you going to sleep to waking up?
Like just from like that, like,
Okay, yeah.
and then it shows you like dips and spikes, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with like drama? I think that shit's toxic. I just said screw it, got rid of it. It's not worth it. I'm not gonna leave it up there. And then I always laugh too. It's like the people like want you to leave it up there, and I'm like, bro, if you want me to leave it up there, you're probably just a hater. Like I'm not gonna leave toxic shit up and like people
Yeah,
want it up. It's so weird. It's
yeah.
so weird. Some people they love that shit.
No, I mean, I understand completely why it's entertaining. Listen, it is entertaining,
Yeah.
but
I just like, no, I'm just gonna
definitely,
fucking get rid of it. I'm like, I'm not
yeah.
gonna first of all, it's false information because I went into his Discord, found out like the truth. And second of all, it's fucking toxic. I'm not gonna leave fucking toxic false information up on my channel. And people are like what? You wanna fucking keep going back and watching on replay? Like people are sick.
Yeah,
There's some
it's
sick
one
out there.
thing to have beef and then just but still be cordial and respectful, right? But then you're 100% right. You can be toxic and toxic towards the community, and that's not good.
I'm not
That's
about to keep
right.
toxic shit up, but people want that stuff so bad. And I'm like, listen, if you want it, you probably don't like me. And that's the only reason you want it up there. That's the only reason. And for all those people that want to keep fucking toxic shit up, like take a hard look at yourself in the mirror, buddy. Like it might be you and not me.
Yeah.
Like I got rid of that shit. I'm not about that life.
I'm actually loving. I've seen it a few times. At first, I thought it was by accident, by mistake, typo, what have you. But a few people have been saying "love KP" or they're switching your
Oh yeah.
initials in reverse. So at first, I thought it was a mistake, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing it on purpose." That's KP is the new nickname.
Yeah. It'll be funny too. We'll talk about MetaZoo. We'll talk about all this stuff, and then this will be like the part 2 where people like will comment, be like, "Leave it up, PK. Come on." It's just funny. I just can't.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, hopefully it didn't get
But no, honestly, the beef squash. There's no beef.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like in general terms now. I think that's the problem too, is people don't understand. Like, I'm not talking about the beef. I'm just talking about like the after effects of it, because I think that's just as fascinating. I think everybody feels emotionally invested in it, which is, it's funny. Or not funny. Funny's a bad word. It's interesting from a social dynamic aspect, I've been learning a lot from this.
it's human nature. It's tribalism at
Like on
its
full display too, and I got to watch it in full. I'm like,
yeah.
ah,
Yeah, it's human nature, psychology, it's tribalism. I mean, I remember our boy Mason Berry, got freaking, quote unquote attacked one time, for no goddamn reason. And a few of us went in there. A few of us went on the guy's channel and freaking let him have it. We gave him a piece of our mind, and that's just the way it works. Because when you know your guy, and your guy's not doing X, right, whatever's being put out there, you show up, you go,
Yeah.
you show
And
up
I
at the front
respect
door.
that too. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like I got like newfound respect. I got all kinds of stuff going on. It's fun. But
Basic new
yeah.
nickname is QT.
I think this is probably going to be the last time this ever gets brought up too. And I think that, like, that's the best thing too. Can we just agree on that? There'll probably be people who are like, no, PK, you should bring it up every video from now until forever. But I'm not. I think this is it.
Yeah.
I got that out there.
Once you can joke about it, genuinely joke about it, on both ends, both ways, right? All parties, most people will get the,
You got to joke about it, man.
Yeah.
You got to just move on from shit. And like, that's what I'm going to do. Just move on.
Yeah.
Like, people had some hot takes, man. And I appreciated the hot takes. They were very interesting, It's just like one of them, somebody sent me a screenshot of one of the takes. It was like, I feel bad for PK's wife or something. And I just like laugh out loud reading this shit. Just like, one, they don't know my wife. Second of all, my wife's way out of my league. I'm very lucky to be with my wife. If she wanted to leave, we've been together for like 10 years. She could have left a long time ago, like way before we had kids. Second of all, she makes plenty of money, so she definitely doesn't need me financially. So she must like something about me. And I literally read it and I laughed. Like, you ever like read something and you just laugh out loud? Like, I actually laughed reading it. I'm like, what kind of hot take is this? I'm like the luckiest dude in the world. Like, my wife lets me like just do my hobby, like doesn't care.
I was just, but you know what? You shouldn't say it out loud to where she can hear you within within your household, or if she watches your lives, or rewatch it.
Dude, she
don't remind her that she's too good for you. Don't remind her.
Oh, she knows it though. She knows that she's out of my league, but it's just funny. Like, reading the takes, like, I didn't even see that when somebody sent it to me. They're like, PK, read this, and I just laughed. And I think as actually Rattle brought it up because like he knows like my situation and he's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, shout out to Mrs. PK, if I may, with the bun in the oven due June. So congratulations to you and Mrs. PK. Congratulations on the growing family. That's awesome, dude.
I'm done after 2 though. To quote Michael Scott, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Never
done after 2.
Never let them outnumber you, dude. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about like number 2. It's like, because our first one, it's in daycare during the day while we're at work. And then the second one's going to be in daycare too. And that's just like, daycare's not cheap. Anybody out there watching this, if you do full-time daycare, it's not cheap. And then we have to send them to like the good daycare, not like the crappy one where they don't pay attention to them. So it's even that much more money. And it's just like every month, it's just like, okay, here you go. Like, and now we're going to double up that. And I got to buy every single one of them, one of each booster box. I'm gonna go broke. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, I'm super excited about it. And yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Congratulations to you guys. It sounds like Mason wants to talk about Denver Collecticon experiences.
Oh yeah. How did you did a lot of MetaZoo stuff at Denver?
Oh yeah, I was at that tournament. Yeah, I was at that tournament, which is why you guys didn't see much of me. We got to hang out on Friday. Thank you, Mace, for the topic. We got to hang out on Friday nights. That was an awesome time seeing all the homies there. And like I was telling you, that's the shift or the transformation of what Collecticons were for me specifically. It was just going to Collecticons and enjoying the show, enjoying the booths, enjoying the many cards that you will probably never see anywhere else other than these types of shows. And then slowly but surely, it's just become this like all the homies knit together at this one event, and and it's a blast. It's a great time. You're vending together, and then you're hanging out, you're dining, you're drinking. It's a blast. So that's definitely more fun now than it was before.
Because the first time I met you was at the Leonhardt pop-up shop, like in person. I mean, we already kind of knew each other before that. You had been on my channel before then, right? Yeah.
Before, yeah, for sure.
But
way before.
I flew in on a Friday night went there on Saturday and then flew out at like 6 a.m. Sunday morning. So that was brutal. That was a tough one. And then
I
at least for
remember that.
Collecticon, I flew in on Friday, stayed Saturday, Sunday, flew out on Monday. So I got like the long weekend, but you got to have the long weekend. You can't just fly in, fly out. But no, it's always fun, man.
Yeah, that's the play. I mean, obviously, anybody in the chat, if you've never been, go to one, plan for one, see which one's being hyped up, and go to that one. If obviously, right? I mean, everyone's situation is different, but schedules and whatnot. But if you can leave on Monday, leave on Monday, because you're going to want to hang out all Saturday, all Sunday for sure. And then you don't want to be rushed out, right? Be rushed out of Collecticon, be rushed out of the city. So Monday is the move.
Yeah. But so what other Collecticons you planning this year? Are you planning Charlotte, maybe? Denver?
I'm
I know
hoping
they're
Charlotte.
close, though.
I'm hoping Charlotte. I'm not, I mean, maybe you'll be able to, put two and two together, but if I'm able to, meet up with a certain person, then maybe together we can open a certain item of mine. And that would be cool. That would be cool to do.
Oh, wow. You're
But
finally gonna open it, huh?
that would be the exception. That would be the
Wow.
exception. That would be like the full circle, type of thing. But also, I need every single homie in there, that was a big part of that day on at Leon Hart's pop-up shop. But that would be the only exception. That would be the only. But every single party has to be there. If not, then it doesn't happen. But Charlotte would be a good one. Now that MetaZoo has a couple of regionals on Collecticon days, I don't know if it's going to be on the premise or not, but it's going to be
Do
Long
you know
Beach.
the backstory? Are you allowed to talk about like what happened? They just had a falling out, or it's not worth it anymore?
Oh no, they're back in.
Oh, they're back in.
Oh, they're back in. Yeah, everything's cool. Everything's
What
cool.
was
They're
that
back
all
in.
about, though?
I mean, and again, this is all rumors. This is just what I've kind of, through the grapevine, but apparently there was just issues with demands, something along those lines, because, hey, when you're becoming big and you're becoming bigger than anything else, and you're getting treated like, like freaking, whoever else is there vending. I mean, sure, you're going to demand a little bit more, better treatment than, but that's just a rumor. I don't know what happened there. But at the end of the day, they're back in. They're
I
showing
love a
up at
good
every
conspiracy theory, though.
Yeah, they're back in. They're
rumor
going to be
mill
at every
from-
Collecticon, and including there's going to be 2 Collecticons with 2 regionals, 2 MetaZoo regionals at those Collecticons, which is Long Beach and Kansas City. So I'll be at those 2 for sure. And then I'm in San Antonio, so Dallas Collecticon and Houston Collecticon are easy moves. And then of course you have Denver. I mean, I haven't heard anyone hype up Denver yet, but Denver would be another cool one to go to. And then what's missing? Charlotte, right? I think it's just the other one. That's the one that's missing. So yeah.
Do you think you're gonna vend it anymore if you're playing? Because I know you vended Long Beach, right?
Long Beach.
And how many I think you had a crazy number. You brought like 600 slabs or something, right?
It was
and you came home with how many?
In total, it was actually 7, because me and Queen MetaZoo, we were sharing booths. But me myself, it was close to 600. I came home with maybe a dozen.
So that means you sold close to 588 slabs.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And it was 90%. Everything was sub 100, and out of those, maybe, I don't know, 40% were under $50, and those just moved. And I went to a show here locally, and it's just funny how, listen, enjoy what you love, buy what you love, collect what you love. Seeing a few of the items, a few of the slabs that people are picking up at these things, CGC 6.5s, but maybe it's just one of those favorite species, right? The one that I specifically saw was a Gengar and a Beedrill, and one of them was 6.5, the other one was 7.5 CGC, and it's I want these, and if this was a grown man just there with his wife, and it's, to me, that's a good thing. To me, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because as long as you're genuinely buying what you love, who cares? Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares what the worth is going to be tomorrow, right? Typically that's for more expensive cards, higher end cards, but stuff like that, $20 cards or unders, like, dude, just buy it, enjoy it. You know, it's in a slab, you can display it. It's all about the art. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I've gathered from the very beginning of me showing up to shows to now, is that people are just enjoying, you know, the cheap stuff. And because not because it's cheap, but because they're able to get what they like, what they love in a displayable plastic case, you
Yeah.
know, and that's cool.
No, when I went there to Denver, that was one of the things I did was I just walked around and I was really curious what was selling, and everything that was selling was just in that sweet spot, like 20 to $120, but especially like maybe not super valuable cards, but mainly just stuff in high grades. Like if you could have PSA 10s priced at $40, which I'm not going to show any cards on screen anymore, guys, but I have a card right in front of me that's like a PSA 10 worth
Show it,
$40. It's like those are
show
the
it.
cards that are worth selling, you know, or at least those are the cards I was seeing people really buy. And like fan favorite Pokemon too. If you had $40 cheap 10s, fan favorite Pokemon, those things are moving all day for people. And I think that's where like the sweet spot is. But one of the cards, so somebody earlier tonight mentioned EX Dragon. And I know one of the cards you had in your booth was the Rayquaza from EX Dragons. You had that in a 10. And actually, during one of my lives, Cool Trainer Ryan like pulled out the same card, same grade. Do you still have that card? Was that one of the few that you brought? But well, yeah,
I
you were
still have
asking a
that.
lot for it though. I think what, like 1400 or something?
Yeah, I'd had it like $300 based on the last sale on auction. It was priced not to sell. Somebody came close within like $200, but it was like, I'm planning on leaving with this slab. Like I want
Yeah.
this slab in my collection. So if somebody wants this, they're gonna have to pay the price tag. The only reason why I brought it is because DNA mentioned that he wanted to see it. So I brought it. And while I had it there, I might as well just price it and put it on display. But it's one of those things where I was like, I really wasn't planning on selling it. So while 200-300 is not that crazy for the person that really wants that card.
And you're saying 200-300 away from what you're asking, not $200-300. There's a
No. It was 200, yeah, 200-300 above the last sold on auction.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So again, not bad. Not for, if someone out there really wanted that card, there was a guy that came and he essentially gave me like $100, offered me $100 from the last auction, and I was like, no, the price tag is what it is. Like, it's, if you want it, where I said, where else are you gonna find one? Go look on eBay. There's not one available. This is it. It's right here in hand. You can see the condition. It's a beautiful card. If you want it, it's yours, but you're gonna have to pay the price tag.
Yeah. When I was doing the Denver Collecticon, I was walking around and we were looking at all the all the cases, and one of them they had the Shiny Magic card, just unlimited. It wasn't first edition though. And I looked at it and I was on the live and I thought about buying it and I didn't. As soon as the live was over, walk right back to that booth to buy it, already sold. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was as if somebody was watching my live, following me around and like, oh, PK didn't pick this up, I'm buying it. So
yeah, you have to be careful with that, because if there's something that you know you're just not going to find somewhere else, it's probably going to be the only one in the building. You don't see many come through.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be a crazy card, expensive card, but yeah, again, that Pikachu that I picked up is like, I got to go for it. This is going to be my only shot to get this in a specific PSA 9. This has got to be my shot, and I went for it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially picking up just clean cards too in near mint condition that are chasey or type cards. I found that it's with the like prevalence of grading and how much more people are grading, dude, picking up raw near mint stuff for like vintage is getting harder and harder by the day. Like, you used to be able to get stuff, but I mean, modern today, sure. Like, you want a modern chase, like it's probably on eBay right now. Like, you'll probably be actually harder pressed to not find that card in a raw form on eBay opposed to, you know. But like some of this real more nichey vintage stuff, it's just people are great in it now and they know what it's worth. Whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. And going here for a few shows here in San Antonio, which I'm lucky because here in Texas, they have a ton of shows, you know, almost every month there's one somewhere. The thing that I've noticed though, coming from the Midwest, they use TCG Player here hard. And you know, when you look at TCG Player prices versus the whatever you're thinking the pre-grade of that card will be,
yeah,
it's like you're making $0. You're making zero. So it's almost like TCG Player is just targeting binder collectors, right? Because you cannot buy based off of TCG prices for you to grade. But I came, coming from the Midwest, all we use is eBay. We always use eBay. When I left, we still used eBay. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a regional thing. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. So it's just like, it's pissing me off that I can't do that here. But,
That's-
it is what it is.
And it's even harder with raw too, because near mint, if you can't see the card, doesn't mean shit to me. Like if I have the cleanest copy and you're quoted near mint, I don't care, So it's a lot of layers to it. But people are saying, they're asking you some MetaZoo questions. They're saying basic, you think UFO and Wilderness have bottomed out steep declines lately? More importantly, have they bottomed out? Do you see them recovering? So my big worry for MetaZoo was overprinting, because I never really believed that the fan base was as strong and that they could absorb overprinting. That was my fear.
Yeah.
I thought people were in MetaZoo a little bit too much for the money and like the stonk dog type shit. Like everything just goes up, everything's gonna make money. And then when that oversupply hit, like we see it happen in Pokemon a lot. We saw it happen recently with, that Chilling Reign, Battle Styles, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, all of those got dumped at the same time. The market was strong enough to eventually absorb that stuff. Chilling Reign took about a year, but it happened. My fear with MetaZoo was that when that dump happened, the market wouldn't be strong enough. Do you see those recovering or what?
I do see it recovering, but it might not be tomorrow, may not be in the 6 months or a year. Wilderness is probably the best example because being in the hobby, right? Being actually inside of it, I can definitely see the maybe not misconceptions, but how people look at the markets, look at the prices, and just automatically think MetaZoo is crap, right? It's nothing. It's just all it is. It's if they're making 50,000 for every SKU, there just might not be enough demand today to eat up 50,000 of a SKU, right? But it doesn't mean that it's not being eaten up. Sorry, Mason Barry, you're going to be called out here. Mason said something along the lines of, I believe Seance. I believe he was targeting Seance, that there's only been 12 sales on TCG Player. But then Dan Ketchum said, but there's only been 20 Evolving Skies. So you look at the markets and the population from each group. How is there only 20 Evolving Skies sold, but 12, Seance? How is the difference only 8 boxes from each?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, listen, MetaZoo is
comes
growing.
To price point on that one. I think people are worried about Evolving Skies potentially being overprinted and the dangers of reprints.
And sure, but when you look at the crowds for MetaZoo in comparison to the crowds of Pokemon, it's stupid. It's dumb, right? It's not even close. So, I mean, for them only to be 8 boxes separated from each other is nothing. UFO, again, just me being knee deep in it. UFO has the most expensive reverses because reverses are extremely hard to pull from the UFO set. But the outsiders wouldn't know that. Only the players know that. And the players want the hardest card to get of a certain kind. So they want those reverses because they're very hard to pull. In Wilderness is one of my favorite cards to one of my favorite sets to open.
I gotta stop you. So shout out to EX Dragon again, the TV reporter reverse hollow. I just want to see how many times we can mention EX Dragon during this live stream. But no, keep going. And again, that's a card in Pokemon that only the people that are in the know want that TV reporter reverse hollow. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But yeah, keep going.
Wilderness is one of my favorite sets to open. I'm sure it has to do a lot with the price, $45-$50. But the fact that you can pull still the most expensive aura, which is the Prism aura, you can also pull the golden ticket, the silver ticket, the bronze ticket. We still don't know what it does, but it does something cool. We bet. You can pull the Green Man, which is the first serialized card, 1 out of 100. I want that card so bad. I have a few Wilderness boxes that in certain occasions, as I'm traveling, things like that, I'll take a box with me and open it there, So do I see it bouncing back? For sure, but it all has to do with the growth of MetaZoo, and it's growing, man. I'm telling you, take my word for it, it's growing, but it's just not rocketing like everyone wants it to be, or it's a fail, right? It doesn't need to be Pokemon in order to succeed, but it is growing, and I see it. I mean, on sign up day, on the first one, there was over 500 people when even Mike himself only anticipated about 200. And there were over 500 people that signed up for the first regionals, to the point where he had to make changes. He had to pivot and essentially just open it up to everyone that makes it. If you make it, you play.
Interesting.
And it's 150,000, cash prize for the top 32. And I'm telling you, folks, man, it is. Think about how hard it would be to get in the money game in Pokemon. In MetaZoo, $150,000. Your competition is only 300-400 people. And you only have to learn, because of the way the format and the regionals are set up, you only have to learn like 40 cards. You don't have to learn the entire 5 sets, 6 sets that have been released. You only have to learn 40 cards that are playable, because the way they formatted it for my Pokemon people, essentially everyone, let's just say for this March regional, the format is you have to use water decks only, or 60% of the deck have to be water Pokemon, not counting your water your water energies, not counting your water energies at a 40 count deck. So out of 40 cards, 24 have to be water Pokemon, and then your other 16 can be a variance of your bookmarks, your energies, what have you, right? So everyone's going to be looking at the same style. They're going to be mirror matches, as they call it. So it's very easy to people, even if it was just for the goddamn money, it's very easy for people to learn 40 pages, go play a local tournament, and see what happens at one of these events. Like, go check out which regional is going to be close to your town where you can just drive to. It's the easiest thing to do, because the barrier of entry right now is nothing.
This is why I call Basic Trainer the biggest MetaZoo shill that ever lived. I'll give it to you, Basic. I think you believe it, but we got to stop this, man.
I'm enjoying it. Listen, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying life right now. MetaZoo's awesome. The playability is freaking great. It's so freaking fun.
Oh,
I'm here
boy.
for it. I'm here for
Chilling
it.
all day. All right. That was your MetaZoo shill for the day. But
Mike Waddell hit me up.
yeah, put him on the payroll, Mike. So we've made it now. I wanted to make it a full hour. We didn't make it an hour. We made it to 57 minutes. So I guess that only means we can only have to talk about one thing to at least end this chat off on. You know what it's got to be, right?
We have to talk about Moonbreon.
You got to talk about it.
To.
Got to talk about it. Sorry. If everybody out there, listen, we have 64 likes right now. Before you exit out of this video, before the Moonbreon talk happens, remember, you can be like number 69. So feel free to hit that like button. Be like 69. But what do you think? 12K. You think it was a real sale, supposedly. Like Mertz commented on the PWCC Instagram page, said, was this really paid for? PWCC responded to Mertz and said it was paid. Now, could PWCC be lying? Maybe. But 12K, man. That's for a modern Pokemon card. I know we talked about it in the live too, or my last podcast, but bro, that is so much money. And when I was at Denver, I saw the Moonbreon come through. It was a Black Label Moonbreon. I don't know if it was that one. And it was that kid. He's been in a lot of videos lately. He was in like a Leonhardt video, some other people. He's like a younger kid, but he had that card. He's had a lot of vintage packs too, but he had that card. So what do you think about 12K Moonbreon?
Tinfoil hat, or can we get conspiratorial?
We can go as conspiracy. I love a good conspiracy theory. I live off that shit.
So 12K is huge, right? We know 12K is just dumb money for a modern card, even for Moonbreon. Sure, it's a Black Label, but 12K, bro, that's disgusting. How hard would it be for Beckett, an entity within Beckett, to buy this card for 12K? Put it on, because that's the best advertisement. That's the best advertisement marketing that you can do for your company, is to buy that card. You're buying it at 12,000, right? But that's my tinfoil hat. To think that someone, a person, a collector, bought that card at 12K. And there was competition at that for
There's 50
12K.
black labels though, basic. 50 black labels.
So you mean to tell me you also understand the black label market, meaning you get it and
Oh,
you understand why?
I would never say I understand it. I'm a passive bystander as this freaking thing passes by, you know? Understanding is a very different word. But what are we at? So think about PSA 10 pop, right? We're getting close to what, 5K in PSA 10 for the Moonbryon? It's pretty close.
Yeah.
And so so you got 5,000 PSA 10 examples of the Moonbryon. It has about a 80% Gem Mint 10 rate. There's 50 black labels, which is about a 5% black label rate. So that means that's like a 1% black label when you add in Beckett plus PSA. About a 1% chance of getting a black label of the most obscure, skewed, biased, unrepeatable possible thing you could ever do. I promise you. I can't promise because nobody would do it.
Yeah.
But if somebody had the freaking balls to crack out a perfect black label Moonbryon, which they never would, so this is an impossible thing. But if they ever did that and sent that same card in, it's no way you reproduce that black label. You just doesn't happen. So it's an unrepeatable thing. And then everybody, and again, we're in a vacuum, we're in a laboratory setting. When you break it out of the slab, there's no damage to the card. It stays as it is. Even with that said, it's unrepeatable. So I don't get the black label premium. I've never really got it. I kind of get it. Like with you think about Gary King Pokemon, right? And, he's got his Beckett Pristines. And for anybody out there listening, doesn't understand the difference between a Beckett Pristine 10 versus like a Beckett Black Label. They're both technically pristines, but the gold 10 means you have 3 subgrades that are a 10 and 1 subgrade that's a 9.5. So for grading, you have 4 criteria. You have centering, corners, edges, and surface. So you could have like 10, 10, 10, 9, 5, and that's going to give you that gold label 10, and where the black label means centers, corners, edges, and surface. All those got 10s. So that's a black label. I would go out on a limb and say 99% of the people who watch this video know that, but if there is the chance that somebody just learned that for the first time, that's the difference. So
if you crack all the 9s that exist for Moonbryon and
you could get a 10
and submit them all to BGS, can you get a black label from them?
Possibly. I would put it high likelihood.
Exactly. So that's the reason why, but that's us talking about it, right? That's the niches of the niches, as you put it. We understand that it's so subjective to pay such a premium for a Moonbryon. That doesn't make sense. Let's grab another card, for example, a first edition Charizard. If someone is able to grade that in a black label, in my head, that makes sense. That makes sense to me why it would go for $1 million, right?
Maybe more.
Sure, it makes sense to me in my head. But when a Moonbryon 10 PSA goes for $1,000 or $900, $1,000 today, the black label goes to 12,000. That doesn't compute. That correlation is not there between the PSA 10 to the black label. For a modern card, that if in my head, in our heads, we know this because we're in this. If you crack all the 9s and send them all to BGS, you're gonna get 1 black label at least.
I think so. I'm talking, all of them, all the 9s that exist. Fuck yeah. And Leonhardt made, how many videos has Leonhardt made where he's literally cracked out BGS slabs, sends them, and gets different like centering grades. He goes from like a centering of a 10 to a centering of a 9. I've seen him go from a centering of a 9 to a centering of a 10. You can say what you want about corners, edges, and surface. Like you can damage that when you crack the slab, but you can't make a centering 10 go to a 9. And you definitely can't make a centering 9 go to a 10. But Leonhardt has showed that on multiple videos back to back to back.
Yeah, it's that's why I don't buy PSA 10s. I've known for a long time that it's just so subjective. It makes no sense to pay the premium for a PSA 10, let alone a black label or a CGC pristine or perfect label. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. I go for the 9 because a 9 looks as good as a 10 at the end of the day.
Dude, we got some troll questions in the chat. Rab Deep said, "Do you think Moonbrown could be the first $1 million Pokemon card?"
So,
No.
so here's a question. I would like to hear your take. Me and Mason, we had a fun, back and forth on my live on Saturday. And one of the fun topics was him saying that Moonbreon is the measuring stick for modern. Do you
That's
think
an interesting take.
Yeah, and I've asked that question to TCA and Gem and Pokemon on their lives whenever they've been on a live. Just jokingly, sarcastically, is Moonbreon the gauge for the market as a whole, right? But going with the same thing, what do you think? Is Moonbreon the gauge for modern, more specifically for modern? Is there a correlation? Does the Moonbreon price affect modern?
Moonbreon, yeah. But it's not going to be like a short-winded question or answer. Like, honestly, it affects it because you have like the real simple indicator that the more expensive that Moonbrown becomes, the more expensive Evolving Skies booster boxes come. That's fine. But I think what people don't understand is when Evolving Skies hits a certain price point, it then that once it hits $300 the booster box, you lose a lot of your buyer pool at $300, which sounds crazy. Like $300 might not be a lot, but it really is for a lot of people. So then they start going to the next best set, and that's probably like Brilliant Stars. And then they start buying up Brilliant Stars, and then that hits 200. And then they say, okay, Brilliant Stars hit 200. Now what's the next set below that? And they start looking at Silver Tempest, Lost Origins, and they say, okay, maybe Lost Origins next, Great Trainer Gallery. They push up the price of Lost Origins, then they push up the price of Silver Tempest, till eventually, given enough time, they get down to my Chill and Rain, they get down to my Battle Styles, and then next thing you know, Chill and Rain is the far superior set. Like, yes, it's Chill and Pain because the pull rates suck, but then you pull up Chill and Rain, you bring Chill and Rain to $140 booster box, and then you bring up Battle Styles. That's so I can see where that could be the gauge, because that card has this weird adverse effect downhill on all these less, not as good sets. And I think back like on a very similar trajectory of Team Up. Team Up played out very similar. Now, what's the Moonbreon in Team Up? It's the Latias lovers card. I don't know what people call them. I call it the lovers card. It makes a heart. So you got that. And we call it like kind of an alternative art. Some people like to call Sun and Moon alternative art. Some people don't. I like to call them alternative arts. So that card started going crazy in price. By going crazy in price, carried up the rest of the set. Now, the thing about Team Up, there's also a lot of fantastic cards in Team Up. Team Up's a stack set, a lot of good cards. My personal favorite that I thought was undervalued forever, Gengar Mimikyu, the Rainbow Rare. Beautiful card, loved it. Talked about it a million different times. That booster box started going crazy. You look at Evolving Skies, yeah, there's a Moonbreon, but how many good evolutions are in there too? You still have the Sylveon. You still have I'm trying to think, like you got a bunch of different like Umbreons, Sylveons. It's just like a all around solid set. And then what happened after Team Up went up? People went to the next bet set, which was Sun and Moon. And then, maybe they started looking at Unbroken Bonds. They started looking at Unified Minds, because you goes Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse, and then you start buying up all that pressure starts going up. Next thing you know, freaking Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes, $500. And then people start looking back a little bit. And then, you start going far enough back in Sun and Moon, you eventually get to Crimson Invasion being the third set of Sun and Moon. So you got Sun and Moon base was the first one. Guardian Rising was the second one. Crimson Invasion was the third. Nobody freaking liked Crimson Invasion. What happened with Crimson Invasion? Eventually, buying pressure ate up all the supply of everything around until finally the last one left in the barrel was old Crimson Invasion sitting there just like, what about me, with its little fucking Gyarados hyper rare and nothing else. I guess like there's the Olivia cards in there or something. There's like one good trainer card in there, but more or less Crimson Invasion's a flop. And then eventually people took Crimson Invasion and ran with it. And then and I'm not going to do it the whole spiel again for XY, but then you do the same spiel for XY, and you kind of look at evolutions, but more importantly, you look at Steam Siege, because evolutions went up. Well, evolutions eventually went up to $1,000. It retraced to 700. That's about where it's at today. But then you look at like a Steam Siege and you say, okay, like, and again, those are like ending sets, moving into Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
It's a
I,
hard,
I'm
it's not, so to answer your question, the simple question you asked me, is it a gauge of modern? Yes. But you have to take all this shit into account, in my opinion, to verify that argument. But yeah, I like it.
So I think like Rock Sandy said, right? The same way if a BGS 10 Charizard would sell for $1 million, then base set goes up. I get that because it's the same set. So if the PSA 10 Moonbreon goes up, then the Evolving Skies booster boxes go up. I get that. The raw card goes up. I get that. But a gauge for modern, I don't think so. Meaning, let's play it in reverse. If Moonbreon within the next month goes from $1,000 to 500, does that mean that the modern market goes down 50%? I don't even think it goes 40% or 30%, not even 20%. I don't think it's a gauge when you look at it from that standpoint, because when you look at it from that equation, if Moonbreon goes down 50% down in the next month, the modern market will not go down 50%. It doesn't work that way. Yes, the Evolving Skies booster box, possibly, probably not. The raw card for sure, but not the modern market, not the other modern boxes.
So at this point, this late in the game, the price of Moonbreon, I do not believe affects the booster box price anymore. I think that price has already been added in. The only thing that will hurt Evolving Skies right now is reprints, or if we start to see more restocks on Pokemon Center. You know, we had 3 days in a row with booster box restocked on PokemonCenter.com. We didn't get the 4th day. We didn't get the 5th day. But were they just eating through backstock? Maybe. A reprint will hurt that booster box. That's the only thing at this point that's going to bring it back, in my opinion. Organic demand's not bringing that booster box back. Sorry, guys. So reprints is the only thing, in my opinion, at this moment in time. I don't think the Moonbreon price affects it now. I think the effects have already been felt. And Evolving Skies sucks to open. It's not a fun set. Like, when you pull the Dragonite V, which is an alternative art in that set, and one of the chases, or you pull the Batman card and you don't feel happy about it, and even the Dragonite's a $100 card, the Batman card's probably like the Noivern V, which I hate calling it Noivern. I only like calling it a Batman card, but you know, that card's $30 or $50, $40. It's not a great feeling knowing that you missed out on the Moonbreon. Shout out to Rattle Pokemon out there, you know?
No, the psychology works on it. Like I said, the only reason why I want to Moonbreon today is because of everything that's been going on with that card. Just historically, it's gonna be a card that we're always gonna remember. We're gonna be freaking 50, 60, 70 years old talking about Moonbreon, the first modern card to ever do it. You know, and
The Latios and Latias did it. It just took it was just a different timeline.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, different timeline. It's it's a very unique, couples card. I'll give it to the girlfriend, but then secretly it's just for you. That type of thing. Like I get it, I get it. But Moonbreon is just kind of falls in that different category. Yeah, I think there's an asterisk for me for that Latios Latias. Compared to the Moonbreon. Moonbreon is just a whole different monster, a whole different reason behind it. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm gonna wait for it to get down to 150 in a PSA 10, and then I'll pick it up, but that'll never happen.
Yeah, that's I think this is the crazy thing, is if we have this much buying pressure at that card at 1,000 right now, there will be more buying pressure at when it drops 800 and more to 600, and then 500 and 400 and 300. And there will be buyers at every one of those prices. And then eventually till it gets to where you now are. You said you're the buyer at 150. By the time for you to be the last buyer left in that buyer pool, it's going to take a long time. I think the better analogy of a card, though, that is the strongest indicator of modern Pokemon, or just Pokemon in general, is the Charizard V not alternative art, Charizard V promo from Champion's Path. I think that is just a hands down best indicator of just the strength of this hobby. That card has been graded in a 10 67,000 times. Can't even name to you. I mean, obviously no one can name 67,000 people, but I can't even imagine how many people that is, That's gonna fill up an entire football stadium, and every single person in that stadium owns a copy of that card is just a ridiculous fact. And then if you go on eBay right now and you look for the last week of sales, 7 days, Champions Path, that's not a new specialty set, but how many sales of that card took place in the last 7 days? And how many bids were on those auctions? And when you look at it, you're like, oh my God. That to me is the indicator of just the hobby.
What's it going for? 30, 40 bucks still in the 10?
Bro, it's gone up. I've seen sales like between 40, like 40 to 50. It's crazy.
There's no way.
I swear.
Oh
Look
my
at it.
God.
It's like I watch it. It was just sheer, like utter amazement at how a card with such a crazy high population.
That's crazy. Obviously 67,000 PSA 10s is still not enough to feed the hobby. So but yeah, I think, yeah, Mace, sorry, it's not Moonbryon. Champions Path promo Zard is the gauge of the hobby, not
Of
just
the hobby.
modern, the
Not
hobby.
from- All right. So here, I'll give you, so this is just on February, the day of recording this video, just today. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 sales of that card in a PSA 10. The highest sale I'm seeing is $49.83, and the lowest sale I'm seeing is $31.02. Yeah, there you go. Everyone has.
Go, baby.
Everyone's got one.
Let's go, baby.
So I was probably a little off with my price. I'm seeing like $35, $42, $42. But I guess not. I said between 40 and 50 bucks. 42 is between 40 and 50, but 35 is not. But the lowest sale was 31 and the highest sale was 49.
Okay.
But it was Canadian. So, oh no, 49 American, 67.99 Canadian. Bro.
Okay.
Those are wild numbers when you and I said, what did I say? 16 or 17 sales just today.
So Dan, KFC, he always says for anything in the hobby, there's a number where it tips the scales.
Oh yeah.
What number in a PSA 10 pop does it have to be to tips the scales?
I mean, card dependent, but who knows?
Moonbryon.
Oh, I don't know.
Does it ever tip the scale? I mean, okay, let's double it. What is it, like 4, almost 5 now? Let's say 10. Let's say by the end of the year, there's 10,000.
No, that's a realistic number. I think you have 10,000 buyers of it. Maybe not at 1,000, but like 600-700, but that's not a bad price. Like that is
No.
for a modern card for $600-700.
Yeah.
But see, where I'm curious is where the floor would be with massive dumps in population, like a reprint, and we're talking reprints, full restocks, and now we're just doubling, graded populations and stuff.
Yeah, it's again, I do believe there's a number. I don't think it happens at 10K, but there's a number.
There's always a number, but I don't know what that number is because that Charizard V, you think there's a number where it's not worth grading anymore, but it is. Now, what does that card sell? This is the thing about modern too, which for some modern cards, 9s, you're going to either break even or lose money. I think that Charizard is a no-brainer in a 9. But I bet you there are still people that buy that card in a 9, which is even that one thing crazier.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think the 9 should be at raw price, right? Like, why spend $20 on a card if you could just buy that same one? We saw the one sale for 31. Why not just spend the extra $11 if you really want that? Get the 10 and just be done with it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's convenience at the end of the day. There's a reason why there's a bunch of services out here for us. We still go and pay for an oil change because we can do it. It's easy. It's convenience. And some people are just not willing to put the time, especially if they can easily afford it and they look at $30, $40 like, who cares? It's $40. For them, it's like the easiest thing, right? There's always going to be that that percentage of people. Like
I don't change my own oil.
No.
Nope. I want to just bring it in, have them change my oil, and then top off all my fluids, and then done. And I get a car wash. I don't change my own oil.
Well, as a maintenance tech, I could do it myself, but I'm not. I could do it as long as someone's paying me. But to do my own, nah, I'm gonna go pay someone to do it. It's
Yeah, I pay for
convenient.
somebody to
It's
change my oil, so
convenient.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's convenience fee. I've definitely picked up some Black Star promos in 10s that I paid the convenience fee just to have. I didn't want to go sourcing. There's 53 Black Star promos. Like, I'm not about to start sourcing 10s. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I'm not. I'll just spend the, $40 or whatever once in a while to pick up a 10 to just check a box. Some of the times it's just checking a box. So that Charizard, I see it, but I just think that is that's modern. And then this is the thing too, is when people say the market needs to retrace and like, what does a real crash looks like? I start to add up all this stuff and I'm like, the Moonbreon has to drop. The Charizard still has to drop. Evolving Skies booster box has to drop. Evolution's booster box have to drop. Team Up, and then let's start going back, and then look at like we'll just talk about the worst sets of timelines, right? And we'll just go back to like, we won't go that far. We'll just go black and white. It'll take too long. But you go Sword and Shield, okay. Battle Styles, and then Sun and Moon, Crimson Invasion. Go back to XY, Steam Siege. Go back to black and white, Emergent Powers. Emergent Powers being the second set of black and white, and then it's ironic too, because, Steam Siege is like, so Emergent Powers is the second set in black and white, and Crimson Invasion is the third set in Sun and Moon. And then Steam Siege is the second to last set in Sun and Moon. So it's not even like where it comes out. They're all different, So it's just, you need every one of those sets. You need an Emergent Powers booster box right now to crash down to like $100. That's not fucking happening.
Yeah.
There's just too many sealed collectors out there that's going to see a black and white booster box at certain prices, and they don't care what's in it. They just want it as this like sealed collection piece. But so to have an absolute drop in the market, like the floor to fall out in the worst case scenario, you need so many different things to happen that I have and this could be where like our delusions come in, right? Like where you don't think it's possible that every single thing could drop. And then once all that shit drops, then your base set booster box that you bought needs to now drop to where you bought it at $600. And then are you a seller at $600? Because you were still a buyer at $600 before the height of heights. And what do you have a jungle and a fossil booster box too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you need those booster boxes to drop. How does all this stuff happen? I don't see it happening.
The markets will never allow that to happen, because the people like you and I are probably buying those items that you just mentioned at like $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000, right? Like we're not allowing it to go down, and that's where you see like when you look at the charts, they go down and then they bounce right back up, right? Because the markets don't allow these prices to go down. Moonbreon,
that's why I like some graded cards, because some graded cards I can do that. Like if a card has a pop 30 or 40. I could buy every one when the prices hit a certain price. And shout out to Gem Mint Pokemon. He's talked about this on certain cards he owns multiple occasions. He goes, listen, if some of these cards hit certain price points, I will just buy them. Now, I can do that with a card that has a population of 30 and 40, but I can't do that on like crazy high ends, I mean, there could be 10,000 base set booster box remaining in the population. I cannot be a buyer of 10,000 booster boxes at $2,000. I just can't do it. So it's fascinating to like really start to break it down and think about it.
Yeah, but just like you and I, we have certain amount of reach, right? Of when these prices go down, we're going to be in there pulling the triggers. There's still whales out there. These whales are going to be doing the same thing that we're doing, but at a larger capacity. Right. And they're not going to allow that base set box to get under 10K, 9K, 8K. They're going to be snatching up a lot of it, and maybe there's not as big of a whale, but the whale behind them is like, I don't like it at 9 and 8, but I need that 6 and 7. And then eventually he's going to find that floor again, right? Where it's not going to go down to 600. It's not going to be just catastrophic, freaking dips, but That's what markets do. The markets just we are very emotionally attached to price memory. And whenever we know that, oh man, I remember when there was this price, I remember when Moonbreon was freaking $200-300. So when it starts dipping, if it starts dipping to 5-4, there's a ton of people that are going to be buying that card at $400 and $500 that won't allow it to dip any lower. That's just how markets work.
Yeah. Or we could be doing the gravest of sins and we're giving way too much credit to the strength of the market too, which is well, we could be, and this is the problem. This is that potential conversation of over bearishness or over bullishness, which while I think it's unlikely, I'm not going to rule out the fact that it could possibly happen. Even though I don't personally feel it's going to happen, I can walk myself through a scenario in which it does. So hopefully everybody out there watching this at least understands that there is always the chance, even if I don't believe that, because I just said there's going to be enough buying pressure on a lot of this stuff, doesn't mean that there is not a situation in some universe, especially this universe, that that's possible, you know?
Sure, of course. Yeah, there's always those crazy scenarios. But, as we talked about these, real financial markets out there, right? In the last 6 months, we all thought, oh man, here it comes. Where is it? Brace yourselves. Pokemon's going to get hit. Like, where is it coming? Where is it? And then it's just like, oh, it's not coming. Oh, there's no dips in Pokemon right now. Even though, in financial world, stock markets, whatnot, things are maybe not crashing, but things are definitely down. The Pokemon market is not feeling it. The Pokemon market actually is thriving. So that says a lot. So essentially, a lot worse has to be going on out there in real life in order for Pokemon to be hit. Right. Sure. There is a number, as we were just talking about. There is a scenario that's going on out there where I'm going to have to sell everything. Right. That worst case scenario financially can happen where I have to sell everything. But as you're just explaining, it's just not foreseeable. There's a scenario. It's just a super just crazy scenario that you just don't foresee. You're willing to bet that it doesn't happen.
Oh, I'm not willing to bet. I am betting. I would say what I am doing is not willing. It is like it could be this is the thing too, like the edge of the cliff could be a steep drop though. We could just be like, hey, boom. Yeah. Like right out of a Looney Tunes, like Wile E. Coyote type situation. So all right, man. Well, we did it. We managed to start the Moonbreon talk at 57 minutes in the live, and we brought it to the 1 hour, 27-minute live. So the Moonbreon talk took up 33% of our entire conversation, to put that in perspective for everybody. One day we won't talk about Moonbreon, hopefully, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Not soon.
But yeah, Basic, man, I appreciate you coming on, and you're always down to come on lives, dude. I always appreciate that.
Hey man, thank you for having me on. And for anyone that just tuned in, like within the last, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour of this Moonbreon talk, PK apologized. PK, I accept your apology here live. Everything's cool between us, all the beef's gone. And yeah,
this is the thing. People are not good at sarcasm. People are gonna sorry, everybody out there. I'm sorry for the clickbaity title. I just couldn't help myself. Sometimes it's just too. It's like you just throw the fishing rod out there and you just slowly reel them in, But no, I appreciate you, Basic. And for anybody out there watching this, do me 2 things. 1, hit the like button. Number 2, subscribe. But more importantly, down below in the description of this video, there are 2 very important links. Actually, 3 important links. You have Basic Trainer's YouTube channel. Give him a subscribe. My man does 12-hour-long lives. 4-hour-long lives, 5-hour-long lives. And yes, the first one you heard correctly, 12-hour-long lives. The second important link that I want you guys to click on is Basic Trainer's Instagram. Give him a subscribe on his Instagram as well. And then the third link, as always, is the Rattle Discord. If you guys want a cool place to hang out, come hang out on Saturday nights for happy hour. I'm always trying to be in the Rattle happy hour chat, hanging out. I definitely recommend you joining that Discord. It's a great time. A lot of smart people in there. But yeah, Basic, you got any final words before we sign off?
No, man. Again, congratulations on the growing family. That's
Thank you,
awesome. That's always amazing. And let's just keep on growing the hobby, man. Let's keep on doing this thing that we love.
All right, man. And for everybody else out there, speak for myself, and I know I could speak for Basic on this one. We appreciate every single one of you.